Okie dokie, that's stupid. Guess I'm going to do it this way tonight. So, pushing buttons. If something goes wrong, just let me know. Noisy chair. Oh, yeah. Probably need to see me. Squeaky, squeaky. First time catching you live. Well, hello, Cookie. I don't even know why I'm wearing this. I was just checking the audio. Hey, Roberto. How you doing? I don't do a whole lot of live streams, so I appreciate you coming in and watching it. Just feel free. Just start. You can ask me questions, make comments, all that kind of fun stuff. Because, like I said, I really don't have a set pattern for what we're going to talk about tonight. Obviously, if you watch any of the other videos, you have questions, whatever, just let me know. Also, if it's too loud or whatever, just let me know that too. Hello. Yeah, there we go. First time catching me live, well, I'll go over a few of the rules. Number one, can't show firearms. We can talk about them, but I can't show firearms on the channel during a live stream. That's rules, all that good stuff. Other than that, talk about whatever you want. Keep it civil. If you get too rowdy, then I mute you for a while. So what am I up to? Nothing right now. 2 weeks ago, I quit my job, so I've just been kind of figuring things out. I spent 6 years without working, so it's not like it's a big transition, but I'm still figuring it out. So I think we hit 155. Come on. Even though it doesn't reflect it. Any ideas, any thoughts on the FN Reflex? I played with one. I haven't owned one yet. They're pretty decent. They're a little small for my hand. I think we're out of the phase of micro nines, which is almost at. So let's see here. Oh, no, 30 more subs and then we'll be at 155K. It points well, but yeah, I have to use a finger extension because I don't have small hands. I'm 6'4", so. Bang. You got me, Tito. Is that right? Tito? T2? If you're looking at a subcompact 9, if you're a FN fanboy, then the Reflex is the way to go. Otherwise, I would suggest guns like the 365X, which is longer slide but still shorter grip frame, but it's still a reasonable grip on it, or the Canik Meta MC9. Their subcompact is really good. They're replacing your Hellcat. If you're talking about the original Hellcat, yeah, that does make sense because the original Hellcat is about the same size, and I think the FN points a little bit better than the Hellcat, but I really like the Hellcat Pro with the optics cut. And And for those of you that are new here, I talk about everything. So it doesn't just have to be guns. If you're here for the guns, cool. We'll talk about that. If there's things going on in the world you want to talk about, we can do that too. But otherwise, throw anything else out there that you want. I like the TP9SC better for some reason. Like you said, though, pinky extension required. Yep. The SC is pretty cool because it's a little bit thicker, gives you a little bit more meat to grab onto, and it's basically just a TP9 top. So, what is your thoughts about the war going on in Israel and Palestine? People getting killed. I try to stay out of politically charged events and religiously charged events because I don't know enough to give you an opinion that should affect your opinions. So keep in mind that I'm not a fence sitter in regards to this. I don't have the information I need to make a good opinion. All we have is what you see on the news and what you see on websites and stuff like that. And I don't think it's enough information to make an informed decision, especially since I'm not Palestinian. I'm not an Israelite. I'm not of either religious or political bent of either country. So I'm going to stay out of that one. We can talk about Epstein, though, if you want. That was a joke. What did you guys do this weekend? Anybody do anything fun? I have no idea what that is. Well, please don't close. There we go. Thoughts on the Mossberg MC2SC and the IWI Masada? I've had the Mossberg the MC2SC, the subcompact version with the optics cut. I like that. It shoots really good. The Masada Slim is nice. I haven't shot it yet, so I don't have a good opinion on that. But I've taken one apart. I've looked at one, and it seems like it's built really well. It's an IWI product, and their Masadas are pretty nice. Agreed until we see that client list and start checking off names. That's okay. Yeah, like you said, Roberto, it's not mine to speak on. So you like my emergency build? I dropped my CPU out of my 5950X, so I had to throw this stupid thing together really quick. That's why the back is open. You can, well, if I move it, you can see through it. I failed. I failed you all. 13 people. I think that's the most people I've ever had here. Can I make a video on my pistol collection? I avoid that on purpose. I really do. Mainly because, actually, I don't have the best answer for that. I don't want anybody to know exactly what I own. It's a lot, but I only bring out guns when I need them for a video, kind of a thing. And I do sell a lot of my guns when I'm done with them because I'll buy Glocks just to make a video and then Glock. It is public. If you go back through all my videos, you can probably figure out what guns that I've filmed that I own. But again, it's one of those things where I'm not Demolition Ranch. I'm not going to take all my guns out and shoot them at the range. Honestly, they're not even all here. So. Zapper review. Which Zapper? Am I missing something? A gun that I regret buying or immediately sold. I have an answer for that. I bought a Glock 27. It was my second gun. I bought a 1911 chambered in 9mm and 22 TCM. It was one of the Rock Islands. And the next day I went back and bought a Glock 27. This was before you had to have a concealed carry to buy more than one a month. So I bought a Glock 27, took it to the range once. For my first time shooting a Glock, it was probably the worst possible choice to buy a small frame 40 cal because I didn't enjoy it. So I went from a gun that was super easy to shoot to a gun that was a pain in the ass to shoot that I hated. So I sold that right away. Now, you've seen my custom Glock 19, Glock 45 Mutant that I built. That one is probably one of my favorite Glocks, mainly because I built it and I changed a lot of stuff on it. But yeah, I sold that one 2 days after I bought it. Hello, Ryan. You still buying my Shadow? That was you with the P40. There you go. You didn't like your AR 556? What was bad with it? Would you hate me if I didn't want to sell you the Shadow? Ooh, cramp. Cramp, cramp, cramp. Damn you for understanding, Ryan. Looking at the Ruger, please explain. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too, man. What didn't you like about your AR 556? Oh, there you go. M16A1 from back in the Coast Guard just felt cheap. I guess. I don't have much experience with them. The last one I played with had all M-lock and a nice handguard on it and stuff. So it wasn't the one that was built like an A2 or an A4, M4. How to build a gun from nothing. Tell us a bit about that. I think you're referring to the Glock that I built. Number one, I'm a Glock armorer when did all that stuff, but I basically just take things apart and figure out how to make them work. The Glock that you're referring to, I think, is the Glock 19 Gen 3. Better off building precision. Yes, you are. But I took a Glock 19 that somebody else had cut so that it would fit Glock 26 mags because he liked longer slides, shorter frames. And I custom built out of fiberglass and Magpul AR mags, so it was a little bit of blasphemy. I remade the magwell for the Glock 19, made it take Glock 17 mags, so the 17 rounders, and modified the whole frame so it wound up being a Glock 45 Gen 3. Then I put an aftermarket top on it. It's got a Ghost Precision 3.5 pound connector in it, but the stock shoe, because Ryan, tell your brother that trigger didn't work. And then it's got a threaded barrel and a Swamp Fox optic. Talent 100. No, boredom. I get bored and I learn things. This is a custom water cooled. I had to bend all those tubes and I had to learn how to do it. So I took the time and learned how to bend hardline tubing and how to route things and make my own brackets. And that's just kind of what I do. I don't buy things that are pre-built. I build things out of parts I buy. Why is it fuzzy? It's on my Wi-Fi. A little bit of an update. The eyes still suck. Spent $4,000 to get LASIK, and I have to wear glasses to do anything close. And my night vision is still blown out. So if you're thinking about LASIK and you only want to see at a certain distance, it makes sense. But for quality of life, it's actually wrecked part of my life because I used to do board level repairs without needing a microscope or a macro lens. And now I can't even do that. So, hey man, my hat's off to you. Effective use of boredom. Boredom is dangerous because Ryan will tell you I've also modified a few Rugers and CZP-10s and a few other guns that we won't talk about. Smaller gun like a P365 or an AR. I already have a full-size Beretta APX-A1. Love that gun. Personally, 90% of my guns are pistols. I have several rifles. Obviously, you've seen them, and Unique AR. I'm not going to list them or anything. I'm just calling them out because they actually hooked me up. Unique AR sent me their Freedom Upper, which shoots amazing. And they have these custom built handguards on them. They're not cheap. The entire upper, because it's a full billet upper that they build. I mean, the entire upper they assembled and cut the upper and everything was like $1,200, but it's a beautiful gun. And if you use the code Jiminy10, which is my name plus 10 at the end of it, you get 10% off. So, boredom usually results in me buying more guns. Yeah, there's stuff coming next week. Oh, 15 minutes in. How do guys do live streaming for like 4 or 5 hours at a time? Well, they've seen the DWX. You guys want to hear the DWX story? It's a fun one. You want the VP70Z. That one belonged to Alex, my buddy. He borrowed me those guns so that I could do a bunch of videos, and I filmed a bunch of them, and I've only put up one, so you'll see more. Why not? All right. You can't sit still that long. Me neither. So, when I was still at Middletown, still friends with them, so. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Sorry, my buddy just texted me that he wants it. Stop texting me. All right. So, anyways, back to the DWX. The DWX was ordered by a buddy of mine, and he had it brought in, and he paid way over sticker on it because it was right when they released. He had it for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and he dumped a lot of rounds through it, and he loved it, but it's not optics cut, which was probably one of their biggest shortcomings. Dan Wesson and DWX and CZ. Why am I wearing a hat with a stain on it? Anyways, so he traded it to me. I bought it off of him, and I took it out and shot it a bunch, and I was disappointed that it wasn't optics cut. So then I brought it back, sold it back to him, and he had it for another 2 months, and then he brought it back into the store, and I bought it back. So, long story short, I'm the second owner, but it's the 4th time or 3rd time it's been out of my possession. I ought to check them out if I get an AR one to be custom. You should do. They do like some of the craziest handguards ever. They'll custom engrave whatever you want on them. But yeah, so the DWX, I'm picking that back up on Friday because I didn't have all the cash, so I had to lay away. Middletown Firearms does that. Sorry. Micro USB or USB stick. But yeah, I have a bad habit of selling a lot of the guns that I probably shouldn't. Like Brian's buying my Shadow 2 that I still haven't uploaded the range video of. I'll get around to it. I promise you. I promise you. Anybody do anything fun this weekend? Let me know where you're at and what you did this weekend. No specifics if it's gross. Thank you for filming me at 320p. Is it me? Oh, it's my own fault. All right, here's a funny one. The way I wound up with 2 FN reflexes and have a 3rd on order. I'm listening. What company? Okay, I shot one at a local range, could not find an optics. You got the regular one. That's how it starts. What company do you think can make an amazing gun if they just listen to consumers? Honestly, Glock. Might sound dumb, but if Glock would actually build a gun that consumers want and not just California and law enforcement, they could build at least one Halo gun and it would probably be badass. Look at the Platypus. Totally random ass question, but what are your thoughts on Taurus? I've got a G3 and I honestly love the damn thing. When management moved to the United States, it corrected a lot of the problems that they were having. When they moved to the United States, they got better quality control on the firearms. They're in Bainbridge, Georgia now. The G2C lineup basically saved the semi auto pistol for Taurus because all they had was the Curve, which was a joke, and the Millennium, which still wasn't a good gun. The G2C saved it. The G3 is awesome. If you're looking for something threaded barrel and a fun gun, I suggest the Tactical because now they're around $400. So you get a threaded barrel, optics cut, spare spring, and a pretty nice bag. So check them out. Loved it so much. Found an optics cut in the FDE. You call them peanut butter and jelly. Nice. Okay, I'm going to lower my own settings because it's making this take longer. There we go. How many of you guys got the amnesty brace or have SBRs and suppressors? Let me know. Come on, kids. 14 of you. 13 of you. You ever watch the watching numbers and it just goes doom, 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 doom. It's like, stick around for a minute. Maybe I'll do something funny. Maybe I'll stick my finger in my nose. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I was going to do the Toro because it's optics cut and don't need a thread barrel because I have the Strike Industries Master. Yep, there you go. All right. Hi, Leland. How you doing, man? Home defense guns, AR shotguns, or pistol. Each one has a purpose. I have a pistol and an AR by my bed, and I have a couple of shotguns strategically placed around for reasons. PC Charger and PC Carbine. I like both of those as well. Damn, Cookie, you should do some videos. Show us what you got. I live somewhere with a sheriff who'd like to abolish the ATF. Basically, most sheriffs don't like the ATF. Most police officers don't like the ATF. And I'm pretty sure that's a sentiment that unless the police officer is not somebody that's looking to enforce actual law and common sense laws, things that should be laws versus things that are just on the books for politicians to make their pockets bigger. 98 out of 104 counties in the state of Virginia, when they announced all these new proposals back when, before we got the change in government again, 98 out of 104 became sanctuaries. So those sheriffs, those police officers, they said they would not enforce what they considered unconstitutional laws. So, yeah, I agree. Didn't want to take my brace off my AK. Yeah, I almost did a couple of SBRs. I think I'd rather just pay for the SBRs. That's way I can put them into trusts, because the amnesty ones, you weren't able to put them in trusts. You'd have to do a regular tax stamp if you wanted a trust, because you were putting multiple people onto a document that would have given multiple people access to your SBR. Local LE sees ATF as freeloaders of their labor. Yep, 100% there. Those are rookie numbers. Just kidding. That's a strong state. Let's see. Yeah. If you look at a new 4473, there's a couple of questions on there that they added in March that are designed specifically to, number one, trip up people that are trying to straw purchase, as well as give information to local law enforcement. One of the questions is, do you live within city limits? There's a reason they ask that question. That reason is, if the ATF requires assistance from a local law enforcement agency, they need to know whether they're talking to city police or sheriffs. So that's the reason for that question. And actually, we'll do a breakdown of what goes on in a 4473, because a lot of people seem to have misconceptions about questions on that. So I'm going to actually break that down. That's a good one. We'll get to that in a little bit. Do you think the military 6.8, I believe, will take off and become the next 223? No, because it's too expensive. And millions of people have 223s and 5.56s. Very few people have the 6.8. It will take a long time for the 6.8 to become the new 223. Just saying. But yeah, I want to dive into 4473s. So if you know all this stuff, great, awesome, perfect. If you don't know this stuff, maybe it'll be new information for some of you new guys. So the way a 4473 works, there's two documents in the state of Virginia. I'm talking about state of Virginia. The 4473 is federal, but your state might be different. In the state of Virginia, you have to do a state form, which is a truncated version of a 4473. It's a state level check. And then you have to do your 4473. The biggest questions that people always ask on that, or the comments that people make, are number one, the two new subsections to question 21. So you have 21A, are you the buyer / transferee of the firearm? Are you the person taking possession of it? Are you? Or are you buying it for somebody who can't own a gun? Question 21B asks, are you buying this for somebody who cannot by law own a firearm? Are you taking possession of this firearm in order to distribute, sell, transfer, etc., to somebody who by law cannot own a firearm? Are you committing a straw purchase in general terms? 21C is the same thing, worded slightly different. So both of those questions are the same. When you get all the way down to it, and it talks about, are you an unlawful user of any or addicted to any unlawful or federally controlled substances? A lot of people made jokes in my doing this will get you a felony, because they're like, oh, check whatever you want on the 4473. What are they going to do? You're not Hunter Biden. He's finally kind of getting his comeuppance. But on that question, in the state of Virginia, where I live, and again, it's different for each state because it's a state level thing for marijuana. But in Virginia, because marijuana is federally illegal still, and it is. It hasn't gone through and become countrywide legal. It's state legal for recreational use. Because it's illegal, if you are a marijuana user, technically you are committing a felony if you smoke weed, and check that box. Again, abolish the ATF. I don't give a crap. If you smoke weed, you smoke weed. You do, THC, you do THC. What you do is up to you. You know, it's one of the dumber ones on there. But everybody's like, oh, just check no. Well, that's a felony. But number two is, people are like, I have a marijuana card, but I can still buy them. In the state of Virginia, you can't. In the state of Virginia, if you have a medical marijuana card, it's on file with the state level. And if you have a medical marijuana card, you're doing an illicit substance in the eyes of the federals. So by law, you cannot buy a firearm in the state of Virginia if you use medical marijuana. Hello, folks. Hello, Zaxon. Also, if I know you from the store, put your name out, or at least let me know that you're from the store, because I don't know usernames. Probably should stop doing that. You're from the flea market. Does that count? Sure. Which flea market? Double Toll Tree? Or Front Royal? Or Mechanicsburg? Harper's Ferry? That narrows it down so much. I'd have a staring contest, but I'll lose. Yeah, I was guessing that, man. I was just messing with you. I realized that when you typed in, I want the VP70, and then you start spamming my texts. Should I get my own 0702? That's the next question. How is my welding skills getting? I took the welder out of the back of the Durango finally. Great, you made my ADD kick in. I don't even know what I just said. Yeah, I haven't even hooked it up yet. What are must-have pistols in your opinion? Whether you like them or not, everybody has to have a 1911. Everybody has to have a Glock 19 or a Glock 17. Everybody has to have a Beretta or a PT92 or a Gerson, and something in that lineup. And in my opinion, everybody should get their hands on an SFX, either a Rival or a TP9. Those are like my must-haves. 320s, unless you're spending the big money and getting a Legion or an AXG Pro or something like that, I don't really think those are must-haves, but they're really good shooters when you get the high-end stuff. Step one, good. Yes, you already don't know what we were talking about, Ryan. Dan Wesson, yep. Yeah, you got the Point Man, right? The Point Man, 24 or 4, whatever it is. The Point Man. I don't own a Dan Wesson 1911, and I sold my Springfield that was rebuilt by Wilson to Ryan there. So maybe I'll get a Dan Wesson. Yeah, the Point Man 45, gorgeous gun. Yeah, sorry though, Pokey fanatic. Alex is not selling the VP70. Thought he might, but I can look for one for you. But so, what are we doing moving forward? Well, obviously, you got the channel and stuff, and Daniel and I are working on getting a garage open for him, so that'll be cool. You need more Resident Evil guns. Bro, buy my Mutant Glock. I'm sure somebody in a Resident Evil game used a Mutant Glock. Can't have the suppressor, though. But yeah, we're not 100% sure where we're getting that set up. We're thinking Martinsburg, might be here in Virginia, so we haven't fully decided on that one yet. So we'll let you know on that. What about the Glong? The Glong? You mean the long, the L17L and the 34 and the 35 and stuff? Or did you mistype that horribly? The Glock that's also a bong. I have not seen that one. That's a new one on me. Oh, look, with my LASIK, I can read my phone from here. It's all right, though. I'd rather let you guys just look into my left ear. Although I do want to do a custom paint job or Cerakote job on my Moxie 1911. PSR is hilarious and his Glong is fully functional. You know what? I have not seen his video on that, and just thinking off the top of my head, I know how to make one that's fully functional, but I'm not going to say how. But it wouldn't be difficult. Do the HK. I don't own an HK. So, no. Almost bought a PTR 91, which is basically the G3, but no. I've avoided getting one of those. I was going to buy a PTR 9C, which is the MPS SP5, the stupid semi-auto one. I'm looking into getting automatic stuff too, because I'm thinking about getting a Class 7 or 0702, which will allow me to build as well as modify. So if I do that, there'll be some updates on that, but I need to get some land. Somebody give me 20 acres. Just super chat it, 20 acres. Right there. Oh. What else is up with you guys? Come on. Someone tell me a joke, or I'm going to start telling bad jokes. That won't go well. Oop. Don't accidentally end the live stream. That would be a little awkward. Am I boring you, or are you boring me? Or is it because I got up early this morning to go to the flea market? You should have been there, Chris. Chris paid me a lot of money today, Chris. Let's see. Oh, look at that. 4 more people. Oh, bad jokes. Yeah, you know the bad jokes. Got a lot of them. 2 guys walk into a bar. Ouch. You have to drive to Minnesota. Where are you, Cookie? And where are you going in Minnesota? Hello, Walker. I'm doing well. How are you? If you're going to Northeast Minneapolis, get some Quaviette for me. Let's see, some more bad jokes. Ones that are clean enough to tell. Yeah. Headed to Rochester. Holy crap, that's a long drive, dude. Kansas City, Missouri to Rochester. There's not a whole lot fun to do up there on the way. Is it only 6 hours? Huh. You speed a lot, don't you? Guy goes to the doctor's office. Doctor says, I got good news and I got bad news. And the guy says, all right, what's the good news? And the doctor looks at him and says, well, the good news is you're dying. And I screwed that joke up. Yeah, Minnesota. Rochester, Minnesota. That's like from the border, because Minneapolis is, 45 minutes from the border of Iowa, and Rochester is a couple hours. I guess so. Thank you, Walker. You just saved it. You saved the segment. What other hobbies do you guys have? Come on, let's engage. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you're not talking about guns and driving to Minnesota? Sold cars in Minnesota for 12 years. Had a body shop there for 7 years. Fishing. Yep, Sam does that. You chase waterfalls. There's a lot of lakes, but there's only a couple of waterfalls in Minnesota. Go over to St. Paul, the zoo that is free to go to. Yeah, they have a waterfall. I think they also have one called, Alexandria Falls? Small ones. Swimming. I haven't done swimming in years. 10 years. Well, there's also International Falls. I've never been there. Whoa, whoa, slow down, Walker. Save some girls for the rest of us. Unless you are a girl, and then carry on. Hello. All lowercase, and my eye just went funny. But if you go to Duluth, you can see the bridge. I have a bunch of kids, so I'm swamped teaching them hunting, fishing, driving, and legal justification for self-defense. You know, if you drop them off at a firehouse, they have to take them. Thoughts on Swap Fox optics? I have them. I like them. They're decent. The window isn't as big as it seems, but the dot seems to be pretty stable. Like the diode doesn't move around at all. Actually, my suppressed Glock is running a Swamp Fox. If you saw the post I did before tonight's stream, it's got a Swamp Fox on it. Kingslayer, I think. And their AR optics, they're like 4 to 32 powers or 4 to 16 powers, are expensive. They're like $600, but they have really good glass in them. All right, question for you guys: USCCA or US Law Shield? What do you guys use if you carry insurance? Nine people watching, 11 people. There's people that are just sitting there watching and they aren't contributing. This is a safe space. You can say whatever you want, unless it's offensive. I open the floodgates. You run the Liberty Optic. Nice. You have USCCA and attorneys on retainer. Yeah, my mother is a paralegal and has worked with just about every lawyer that I can think of. And yeah. Doesn't help living in a blue state. Pardon me. Where do you live, man? I got up early and I'm running out of energy because, nerve damage. Where are you at? I'm assuming you're talking to Haywood. I'm in Virginia. Oh, all the way up there, huh? Family has timeshares up there. Anybody not on the East Coast or Midwest? Let me hear from somebody if you're over Colorado, Central Mountain Time, or Western, whatever, the Pacific, that smaller ocean. Also, I am working out a deal with the owner of Middletown Firearms. I'm going to try to keep using his range, but I've also made sure to renew my gun club membership, so I'll have options. But the other week, Daniel and I went out shooting because we just hadn't gone shooting in a long time, and damn it, I just wanted to go out shooting. So that's what we did. I'm going to stop playing with this now. Fail. You think of the tattoos, they're coming along, right? questions? Hey, when did I put up I was doing a live stream? Did I say that yesterday or this morning? What's the square root of pi? I don't like rutabaga pie. I like apple pie. Why did I choose that particular tattoo? It's actually not one particular tattoo. It's just a bunch of different designs, circuitry. Number one, I'm a nerd, so I really wanted some circuitries and stuff. But number two, if you look at this arm, you can see there's a lot of scarring. I was a mechanic for 10 years, 15 years. I'm so fucking old. I'm going to be 44 this year. How about that? But yeah, all these scars are pretty much the same thing on this arm. So I'm doing full sleeves. These are going to take longer because my arm rejects ink, but I'm going to cover up all my scars. That's why I decided to go with circuits on this arm, and then this arm's going to be nothing but gears. We just have to get to all the shading and darkening everything in. However, I'm allergic to aquaphor and anything that has like almond butter or almond oil or nut oils in it. I'm allergic to those. It almost made my arm peel. So we've actually had to go over this tattoo 4 times. It's finally done. And then this one twice because literally all the ink lifted. And my doctor gave me an AIDS test because he thought my tattoo guy got me sick. When are you going to get a Galil? What makes you think I don't have one? I'm kidding. I don't have one. Just never appealed to me. I'm a pistol guy. I have an AK. I've got a few ARs. But the Galil is cool. But for the money, it's... You're headed to bed. Cookie, have a safe trip, man. Drive safe, drive fast, drive careful. If you can't do any of that, just, floor it. What is your least favorite gun and why? I still have it. You've seen it on the channel if you have been here for a while. It's actually a destructed, totally non-functioning Chiappa M922, which was the Beretta clone that was released under Chiappa's name. For a little bit of backstory on Chiappa, Chiappa does not manufacture a single goddamn thing. Chiappa is like Freedom Group. They didn't design the Rhino. They don't design any of their guns. All they do is they buy companies that build guns, put them under their name, and then release them to the U.S. market. Chiappa is nothing but a business front, okay? That being said, they buy the cheapest companies. If Jennings was still around, it would be resold as a Chiappa. So I bought this M922. It was the third gun I ever bought. So I bought 1911 Glock 27 M922 because I wanted a 22. Took it out to the range. Got 8 rounds through it before the trigger bar spring falls out. And it didn't feed reliably that whole time. First range video I actually ever did was with that gun. Took it home. Called Chiappa. Chiappa is their main headquarters. Their RMA and returns headquarters is in Ohio. They wanted $11 for the spring and $8 to mail it to me. A spring that fits in an envelope. They wanted $8 to send it to me, and they sent it regular mail. So, yeah, that's really screwing over your customers on a gun that had 8 rounds through it. I reassembled it. Doesn't run right. Tried to get it to run right. 22s can be picky on ammo, but no matter what ammo I was putting in, it was jamming on the back of the chamber, or excuse me, the back of the breech. And I think the way it was jamming up, it was causing some issues, which caused the trigger bar to fall out. So I took it all down, tried to make it work. They wouldn't take it back. So I kept it for a while, could never get it to run right. I took it out to the range, shot it with a 9mm 1911, a Mossberg 930 tactical, and my Winchester 30-30, and it's destroyed. It's sitting in a shadow box now. So you're saying they're worse than High Point? Abso-freaking-lutely. In my opinion, because at least High Point, they embrace that they make an inexpensive gun. They embrace that their guns aren't the best in the world, but their stuff runs. I bought one of the YC10s, or not the YC10, the JXP10. They're the big brother to the Yeet cannon. One misfeed. It didn't want to feed the first round going in. After that, it ran flawless. Had a threaded barrel, all that stuff, under $200. So they're willing to acknowledge that they're a cheap gun, but they work. And when they don't work, they'll just send you parts for free. So, yes, better than Chiappa. How do you feel about black powder muskets, and would you own one? Have you ever shot one? Don't know anything about them, really. My buddy Sam needs to take me to the range and teach me more because he actually has a short barrel musket. I don't remember if I pulled the trigger on his, but he set it up. And he did a quad shot, so 4 doubles. So it was a pretty big shot. But I'd be interested in messing with them, maybe making like a blunderbuss. That would be kind of fun. We had one in the store in Middletown for a while. Bouncing around just like a clown. Also, for those of you that have been subbed for a while, are you getting less notifications of the videos? Because I went through like a 6-month period where I was like shadow banned. I think a lot of my videos weren't being shown, and it was really driving me nuts. So I just want to see if you guys are getting notifications again. Hey, new people, say something. Crossbows, ever mess with those? No. I kind of want to. But again, no. It's weird. Now, a hand crossbow I probably mess with, and I've seen some good ones, but I'm not a full-size kind of guy. I don't know what it is. Like, when I play video games, I typically use handguns. You know, I'll beat entire games just using handguns. It's weird. There's something about the visceral, my arm being what aims kind of a thing versus the gun having a stupid 500 to 800 power optic on it. Personal thing. I respect the hell out of them. It's like low riders. I respect them. I don't like them. Moving on. Speaking of the short barrel musket guy, how you doing, Gopher? That's different. My opinion or hand crossbows? I may have watched 4 hours of ear cleanings last night because I have that kind of time again. And now I'm paranoid about ears. Living the wet dream watching you. Keep it civil, young man. I'll have to mute you. Hello, finally got my CPL last Thursday. Rock on. I just congratulated you without confirming. I'm assuming that means your concealed pistol license. You know I'm a responsible adult. You're the one that went fishing with me for 7 hours without telling your wife. Cleveland Public Library. What would you use for a bear and or moose hunt? If I was to go out there, a lot of guys will say 10 mil for bears, and that's probably like entry level. I would probably, and it would probably work for moose as well, 460 Roland. I've seen some really nice Performance Center 460s come through our store. That or a BFR in 4570 or a um, probably something. I guess those are mostly revolvers that I'm talking about, but I would not use a Desert Eagle. I don't think that's going to be fast enough. But yeah, probably like a 460 Roland or a 4570 BFR. There you go. Don't be our wife. Look, man, I'm not trying to call out our throuple online, man. I'm trying to keep it on the down low because I don't know if our wife knows that we call her that. Good for bear and EDC. Yeah, well, I'm big enough that I was able to carry the Desert Eagle in my pocket all day and nobody noticed. Goofy question: is there a pistol that shoots birdshot? Yeah, it's called the Judge. It's a revolver, but it is a handgun. You can shoot varmint loads out of 9mm 45, 357. I don't know if they do a 357 SIG. I don't know why I was started saying that, but if you get a Judge or a Circuit Judge, so you can get the revolver for the handgun, or you can get the Circuit Judge for a rifle. Those will shoot birdshot. Trying to think other ones that are dedicated to birdshot. Come on, Golf. You know stuff. No, I don't even think I can show air guns. That makes me sad. Probably because I'm here and 357 SIG is my jam. Yeah, Gun Gopher, for those of you that don't know, he and I work together. You've seen him in a bunch of shorts. He wants to make everything in the world 357 SIG. Really? Why can't you get the Judge in Massachusetts? It's because it's double action, single action, or because it with the light S trigger? Because if I'm not mistaken, Maryland has a weight restriction. There's got to be a double action only version, or is it because it can shoot 45 Colt? Have you had old timey revolvers in the shop? Yes, not in my possession because after my grandfather died, my family sold a safe with like 4 revolvers and 3 Winchester rifles for like $800. But yes, we had some Colt single action armies, 1873s come through. We actually auctioned those off. We've had all kinds of stuff come through. We get all kinds of customers that walk in there. So again, we had a clean break. So if you are in the Northern Virginia area, Middletown Firearms, they get some of the coolest stuff out there. Okay, so you can get the Governor, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because they both shoot the same thing. Yeah, my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, died in 2017, and that was right when I started getting into guns. I've only been doing this for 6.5 years, and they sold all the guns without asking me because they didn't know that I was into guns. So I don't fault them for selling the guns because they needed to get them out of there, and it was in Connecticut, so they needed to get them out of there. But I wish they had told me about it because the only three that we've got that I got right now is the Winchester 3030, and actually four, excuse me. Winchester 3030, 1875 22 long rifle, and then sequential carbines, the gold plated Centennials. I've got the only sequentials that ever left the factory because my grandfather worked for Winchester for 40 years. We have a Walther PP right now. Texted Ryan and his brother a picture of it yesterday on my PP. Well, luckily there was enough room in the trigger guard. $1,000. Sheesh.
Das sollen wir so. Yes.
If you can't hang a half a dozen donuts and a coffee cup off your penis, are you really trying? I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I feel like staying on until we get to 155,000 subs. 19 to go. I wasn't even feeling up to doing this, but I promised I would. So, you guys want me to do like one a week? Probably have better stuff planned out for it. But it's an ask me anything, so it's up to you guys to come up with some fun stuff. What was the most recent replica weapon you had in the shop? In regards to, what do you mean, replica? There's some Peter Solis in the shop last time I was there, and I think they had a double barrel uh, black powder 20 gauge. Yay. Just use all your fake accounts, Gopher. Well, one or to other, Boatmaster. Every 2 weeks. I'd rather have peanut butter because peanut butter doesn't make me call people after I slam a 750 of it in under an hour. I'm trying to decide what to carry first, 92X RDO Compact or 938 Legion. Two very different guns, very nice guns. My question to you, Stephen, is what are you most comfortable shooting? I mean, do you carry the 938 well? Because it's a very small frame gun. If you shoot and carry it very well, then honestly, I'd probably go with the 938 because it's thinner, smaller, and it would be a better carry gun. But the 92X is a hard gun to beat, especially the 92X compact. When did I first get my concealed carry? In 2018, I got my concealed carry, end of 2018, because my buddy Daniel and his father started Liberty Arms, which is in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the store that I helped set up. And I was there for the first year that they were open, pretty much. And he wanted us to all have concealed carries, and he was in he still is NRA certified instructor. So he did my class time, so we went over everything. I'd already been shooting for over a year, so I had all the fundamentals down, and he'd been shooting with me, so he knew I could shoot. But he took me out, we did the 10 and 10 drill, the 10 shots and 10 seconds, and I think it was an 8-inch target from 20 yards or whatever it was. So I did all that stuff, and so I got my concealed carry in 2018, and I've had it ever since. What are some firearms that are worth getting for a collector? This is going to sound weird, but guns from small companies, because they're going to fail. Hudson H9, could have got those for like $500, passed on them all. Now they're well over $1,000. Any gun that is the new best thing would be a good collector piece, especially if it's a reasonable price. I would say the Platypus is probably going to fail just because it's a reasonable price versus development and everything. But yeah, watch new guns from small companies because they're always going to fail and they're always going to get expensive. 7.62 by 39. Okay, now you're just being weird. And you can get the hyzer and you can get the single shot. You don't even need a Derringer. You get a single shot with no recoil mechanism. Yes, Ryan goes, hey, when am I going with you to the next Chantilly show? I'm free. We'll go. But yes, I'm on the lookout for an H9. I think he said he has the Beretta, Sam. Oh. Oh, hey, real quick. Almost everyone is saying 5.56 is going to be hard to find due to the war or wars going on. 223 is always easier to find, which is always bizarre to me. You're going to have to weigh in on this because it's been 2 weeks. I haven't been following anything in the industry, so I don't know if they are getting harder to find. In your opinion, what would be a good pistol for competition? Personal guns that I've owned that I think were good ones, the TP9 SFX with the 5.25 inch barrel is a great one. However, it's limited because of the way it's built. If you want something that's a little bit like walk right in and shoot, the SIG X5 Legion, which I had, which Ryan bought from me, the CZ Shadow 2, you can get those in double and single action, which is the one that you can easily enter competition. They also make the single action, which is the one I have that I might be selling to Ryan, unless I change my mind. But yeah, so there's that. The Tangfolio or Tanfolios, those are good guns. They're basically CZ75 knockoffs. So those are a really good choice. And then probably if you want something that you can just out of the box it, the Walther PDP Pros. Those are good ones. At least I didn't dead name you, Sam Manta. Look at you being all enthusiastic and helping out your fellow people here. SAR K12. Yeah, but you bought that yourself. I didn't sell you that. Did I sell you mine? Or did you buy mine? I had the Beretta for 2 years and the SIG about 2 months. SIG is a sore subject for me. I like SIGs. I've had bad luck with a couple of their handguns, specifically the 220 Legion. That is probably still no. I think they finally sold it, but yeah, could never get that one to shoot straight. Tungsten guide rods, yay or nay? Yay. I have them in most of my guns. My P10F has it. Had it. I traded that back in at the store. My couple of my 320s have them. The DWX is going to get one because I think it just has a steel one. I like them. The added weight up front does actually help. SIG can get bent. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, people keep on texting me, and I'm using my phone because, I'm cheap. And that's Korean tongue. SIG can get bent. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Let's talk about the GX4s going off on their own, huh? Nobody cares when a Taurus does it. You're cute when your tongue's out. Yeah. Have you heard anything about an ammo shortage? Ammo has never recovered from COVID. It's always been bad. will it ever come back to where it was before? Probably not, because ammo manufacturers are making more money while producing less product. It's the same thing that happened with cars. If you did a lot of lots, they used to have 180 days worth of inventory. When you hear that phrase, that means they have enough cars on their lot to sell their normal number for 180 days, all that crap. But now they have like 20-day supplies. I think ammo is always going to be the same way. It's the same way with gun manufacturers. There used to be a litany of guns available. Now it's all sold directly to shows. So big companies that have millions of dollars will go to SHOT Show, they'll go to the NRA show, they'll go to the bigger regional shows, they'll buy all the new guns, and then they'll keep them out of the hands of distributors, and then stores like Middletown and Liberty don't get the guns that they need. So it kind of blows. Oh, I have one in my safe back here. It's an old ass spacey looking plastic thing. The magazine broke, so I don't know if I 100% agree with you. Hey, Gutta, my mother is a lovely lady. What? Damn, Charlie 19. We know, Charlie. We're not going there. Did you see the Hornady factory had an explosion on Friday? No. That sucks. Although they haven't been producing as much ammo anyway, so they probably lost a shift worth. Why? I can tell you that distributors don't have the ammo, so it is a shortage. There you go. Thank you, Gopher. PCC, yay or nay? I like them. Not as a replacement for a rifle, but I love an AR-9. I've had a lot of them. And with my Osprey, if I use my fixed barrel adapter, I can actually run them on PCCs. So I'm fully for them, just not as a replacement for an AR or an AK or anything like that. Yeah, that's a story. I think, have I ever told the suppressor story outside of the store? You want to hear the suppressor story? Kinda, Steven. It kinda counts. I actually like the CX4 Storm. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, kids, get all crisscross applesauce. JoJo's going to tell you the story of how he was being a nice guy and somebody broke his suppressor twice. So a coworker, who shall not be named because he doesn't deserve it, is like a squirrel on crack. And we took him to the range, and I let him shoot a bunch of my guns. He's actually been in a lot of my shorts. In a lot of my shorts, not in my shorts, a lot. Get your head out of the gutter, Gopher. So I let him shoot my suppressor, and he loved it. And then I had the Smith & Wesson folding pocket pistol caliber gun, the one that came out during COVID, and with all the brace rules coming out. I let him shoot that, but I didn't know that I had to have the fixed barrel adapter on it. I figured it would be okay. And under slow fire, it was fine. Under slow fire, it went with the barrel and it came back and settled. He mag dumped it. And when he mag dumped it, he made it so that it was oscillating. So it literally bent the suppressor. And on the last shot, the suppressor had bent enough that the last shot baffle struck the front or the muzzle end of my suppressor. So it had to go back to Silencer Co. And they rebuilt it without charging me. And I got because it's a modular body, they actually rebuilt it for free and sent it back, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you, Silencer Co. Not that any of you are watching because there's only 14 people here. But yes, Silencer Co. rebuilt it for free. He's also the same guy that blew out the side of the body because we were running 5.56 through it, but that was my fault. Hi, Midnight. Midnight me. Okay, you like yours? Which one do you have, Steven? New sub. Thank you so much. Someone. Yeah, someone. Yeah, someone. Darn, not once but twice. Yeah, and I told him that if Silencer Co. refused to fix it, I was going to take his 30 cal can and I was going to put a 45-70 through it. He got lucky. Oh, and it's a suppress no more. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much ruined it. Oh, you like your CX4? I like them. I think they're cool. They're a lot of plastic because of the outer body, but at least they make the plastic look good. You look at a company like Keltec who thinks that looking like actually this doesn't look that bad because it's got all these covers, but having all your screws exposed looks good. It doesn't. It doesn't. I am somebody. I'm worth 1,000 views. Fuels. Someone's tired. Gotta start and I don't know who you are, bud. 16 more. 16 more. And I'll let you guys go. And I'll let your families go. You guys have to stay here. I'm not letting anybody go. I am worth 1,000 views. But yeah. Class 3. That's a trip too. I made a video going over how to get a suppressor. Oh no. What? Oh boy. No flame war. No flame war. Keep it civil. If you've done a suppressor this year, let me know if you've gotten yours back already. Mine took 185 days. Gopher did the SBR brace amnesty. He got his back in 27 days. People that were paying for their tax stamps were getting their SBRs back in 60 days. But after establishing the store with their class 3, I was the first one to approve, and it took 185 days. So let me know if you guys have any that you're waiting on. Also, a little bit of a tip: if you are waiting to do a suppressor, or if you're waiting for a suppressor that's already in process and you want to do a new one, I highly suggest that you just go ahead and submit it now. That way you can actually get them batch approved potentially, where they'll approve more than one at a time. The SBRs were getting done the same way. I've got a guy that got both of his SBRs approved on the same day. Why does the ATF exist? The ATF exists because probably Hoover. I don't know. They felt, and it's the stupidest thing. For those of you that don't know the backstory on suppressors, why are they $200 tax stamps? Here's a great thing. Did you know that if the ATF had their way, tax stamps for suppressors and SBRs would be $10,000? When the NFA Act came into play, a suppressor cost $2 to $3. So they made the tax stamp $200 in order to dissuade people from buying suppressors. If it was 100 times more expensive for the tax stamp than it was for the actual item, maybe people would have stopped doing it. That way, they weren't taking away your constitutional rights. They were just making you jump through hoops to get it and making it prohibitively expensive without saying, we just don't want them here. So fast forward, it turns out that the IRS and the government had made that $200 tax stamp a legacy tax. Legacy tax are great because that means they cannot be increased over time. Again, inflation by itself should have, from 1968, made a current suppressor $2,000, but the ATF has blatantly said in interviews that they would charge $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just for that tax stamp because it would allow them to control it more, to dissuade even more people from having suppressors, which in their own rulings they've admitted are just firearms accessories. But to them, a suppressor is the most deadly thing in the world. You know what mine's doing right now? It's sitting in a safe. I have barely any more desire to become a ninja than I did before I had the suppressor. And yes, that's an Asian joke because I'm Asian. Why does they exist? Because money? Not really. Hey, the SA-35 was in 9mm. Did it give you any problems? Not that I can claim because I didn't shoot one. I've got the Belgian Browning already, and I've picked up FEGs and things like that over time. The Gerson is probably the most accurate high power clone. The SA35 is close, but they don't share. You can't put a slide from a real Browning onto it. You might be able to put the cheap knockoff high powers on it, but you can't take true high power parts and put them on an SA35. And the FN high power, the new one, is just a joke. It's an FNS or an FNH9 from 2014 with a new body. Different flavor of Asian, so cultural appropriation. You know, the funny thing is I'm reading this on a monitor that was made in Korea, and I'm misreading it. Gerson is a good company if you don't want innovation. Gerson copies literally everybody in the world. For example, Springfield came out with the Emissary, which I've had. You've seen on the channel. I think Ryan has that now. Maybe Ryan? I'm not sure. But they came out with the Emissary. So Gerson came out with a night raid or something, which was an identical gun. Same cuts, same sights, everything. Springfield also has the negotiator or the operator. So Gerson came out with one called the Negotiator, which you've also seen on the channel, which I sold because it didn't feed hollow points. But they copy everybody else's guns. They copy the Beretta. They copy the MC28, which was basically like a first-gen M&P. So yes, they don't innovate, but they copy really well. They're like the guy that changes the homework just enough to get a passing grade. Night Stalker. Thank you, Ghost. Yes, the Night Stalker was a ripoff of the Emissary. And yeah, and I think they have a couple other ones. But yeah, all their 1911s are ripoffs of some other companies. They even make one that looks like a Kimber Warrior. You have any knowledge or experience with lit machine and tool suppressors? Nope. At the store, the only ones we had come in were Texas Silencer Shop, which feels like a good suppressor, but I haven't shot one. Dead Air, which I have shot. Yankee Hill, which I have shot. And Gopher was Charlie's Huxworks on his. I don't remember. But Jacobs, I believe, was a Huxworks. No, his was a Dead Air, and I shot that one. But honestly, if you just design the baffles right, they're pretty much all good to go. I am so sorry. My tattoo is itching. The only thing that doesn't make my skin fall off is actually Neosporin. So pardon me while I rub myself gently while you guys watch me. I'm going to eye fuck you while I do it. Oh, yeah. It puts the lotion on its skin. Hit. Yep. Well, we went over. You came in after I'd already talked about it, but we had to redo all of these because they had all gotten messed up when my skin tried to rip off. So these are finally all recolored, but this one's got a little bit of ink lift. And then we added some new panels, did some shading, and we're starting to do his shading style, which is a dot shading. And again, it's going to be a full sleeve, so there's going to be like layers to the tattoo. So it's going to be, it's not going to be flat like it looks like right now. So like on this side, you can see the circuits run under the honeycomb. And on this side, he's going to put honeycomb behind the circuits. So it's going to be pretty cool. And yes, I have a letter A there. And for the first 3 days while this was healing, I could have swore there was a pot leaf in there, which I don't do marijuana, so I don't do the devil's lettuce because that's so wrong to do. You're not allowed to smoke the. I don't care. 15. What is that on my hat? Must have been when I was gilding that cow. Anyway. Let's talk about Kimber. Gopher loves Kimber. Yeah. Gopher, you still there? You still there, man? Let's talk about how I like Kimber and you hate them for some reason, even though all of mine ran fine. You've shot mine. Mine ran good. Joe Kimber run good. No Zaza for you. Yes, it does. I'm watching the delay. I don't know why. I'm the one doing it, but it's on delay, and I can't help but watch it. See? It's that long of a delay. That's how long the delay is for you guys. I don't know if there's somebody that monitors it or if they're automatically catching the live stream. KDSC9. All right, so I'm going to be on my high horse just a little bit, because I'm trying to grab something here that I can use for scale that won't get me yelled at. Oh, of course, I don't have the thing within reach. I am 6'4". I can palm a basketball. Subcompacts don't work for me. I have bad experience with some micro 9s, also some 380s, which is funny because I got a big box of 380s sitting right there from my Jennings, which I had a good experience with. So why does Kimber suck? He thinks Kimbers suck because of the way they're built, how they have castings instead of forgings, a lot more metal injected molding parts. Their quality control, in his opinion, aren't as good. Frames like to crack, slides like to end up broken. Hey, Ryan, how was that factory new Kimber you bought that wasn't staked? You know what? He changed a lot of parts on that. I'm blaming Ryan. Sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean to call you out. I'm defending Kimber. You're going under the bus. They also fixed it, but they made him take out the parts that he put in. It was irritatingly funny. So Gopher is a biased individual. I love him to death. But, you know, when you see like 80% of the guns act a certain way, you think that's the majority or some shit. Yes, I agree. Every gun I buy, that's probably why a lot more of my guns run good. Every gun I buy, I take the top off. Every Rock Island, I take all the finish off the internals on the rails. Anywhere where there's contact between parts, I always make sure to polish those out. Polish my ramps, polish my rails, polish everything. I do long break-ins on them in order to ensure they run right. But one of the biggest ways you can make a Kimber run good-ish is take that Kimber mag, melt it down, and sell it. And then run Wilson Combat mags or Chip McCormick mags or somebody better mags, and then you'll have much better experience. Forgotten Solo 1. My buddy got this Gen 319 with Spartan engravings on the grip and a super bright bronze finish. Just curious. I think that's the Molan Labe, and it was either Chattanooga or one other company. They're cool. I'm not into the highly decorated guns, but they look nice. They make good display pieces. Okay, one thing. What? How long did it take you to reach 100,000 subs? Interesting story. It took me from September of 2022 to December of 2022. However, I've been making videos since 2017. But for some reason, between September, October, November, December, I averaged between 25 and 30,000 subs a month. And then it died off after the new year because new rules and stuff killed gun channels. So I've 3 months, 92,000 subs, 10 months, 55,000 subs. So yeah, it took quite a while. I'm not biased. I just like things that I do and hate everything that isn't in that group. Yeah, well, you know, good thing I'm on the outside, I guess. Don't forget to polish your knob. It's good. I have that one. It's a good Glock. I placed a tungsten guide rod in it. Yep, now she runs great. Mekar 1911 mags are decent. I'm glad for you, Ryan. Remember to oil it and don't shoot it in the cold. Okay. Yes, Mekar mags are good. Mekar mags are the OEM mag builder for many companies. Although Rock Island during COVID got rid of them and went to AC or KCI or ACT mags, and immediately their quality took a enormous dump. So keep that in mind. If you buy a Rock Island and it doesn't say Mekar right on the mag, chuck those mags. They might work a couple of times, but they have a weaker follower. And the design of the Wilson Combats, the Shooting Stars, the Chip McCormick's, they're designed for a no-tilt follower, which is a weird thing, versus KCI and ACT, who make GI-style mags, and they're not designed to be loaded to 8 rounds. They're only designed to be loaded to 7. But the Wilson Combats and everything, the design of the follower keeps the nose of the round up so that when the tip of the round hits the feed ramp, it's not straight in, it's going up at the correct angle to feed into the gun, because 45s don't have a feed ramp really. They've got that short ramp that just goes up. So you need to make sure that you're feeding them at the right angle. That's a big deal. Have you heard about Fusion? Yes. Very, very solid frames. Gopher, come on, weigh in. You know, you were talking about using one for a build, I think. Fusion Firearms, they build 1911s that are about $800. They have they have front strap checkering, rear strap checkering. They have undercuts underneath the trigger guards, and they have lightning cuts in the dust cover, which I didn't understand that, but pretty nice. PMag is decent, but they don't do 1911 mags. All my mags for my ARs are PMags. I'm okay with them in the Glocks. I prefer to just run Glock mags in a Glock. Personal preference, unless you're talking a 43X or a 48, and then I run shield mags. But yeah, they're decent. They're what you get with Palmetto State and what's that other company that's doing them? That shitty company, Shadow Systems. Yeah, that won't come back and bite me. I don't like them. They're too expensive. Look at all these comments. I love reading all these comments. See where we're at. Holy crap, why am I this tired? And I got to go to the office tomorrow. 12 more. 12 more. 12 more. Oh. What's a good 10 millimeter? Smith & Wesson M&P, Sig X10, Glock 40, Rock Island's 10 millimeter 1911, Kimber Eclipse 10 millimeter, Ivor Johnson 10 millimeter 1911. Who else does one? They killed XDM, so I don't know if they're doing a 10 mil. They're not doing one in the Echelon. Throw out other brands if you know any. So what is a good, decent mag company for the 1911? Wilson Combat, Chip McCormick. Mekar is good if you're on a super budget, because the Wilson Combats are between $45 and $60. Chip McCormick mags are about the same as Mekar. They can run up into the 30s, but these are mags that you'll be able to get a couple of years out of versus one season. And that's another thing a lot of guys don't understand. People would come into the store, people would, down at Liberty even more, because there's a lot more older people down in Harrisonburg, because it's an older city. They'd come in and claiming that their 1911s weren't feeding anymore. And it's because they were running GI surplus mags. You can't do that. The springs are not very strong in a 1911 mag, so they're going to wear out a hell of a lot faster than like a Glock mag or a Beretta mag or a Sig mag. So I would go with the Wilson Combat, Chip McCormick, or Mekar. The three I would recommend. I have an SA Ronin 10 millimeter. There's a good one. Have not seen another one. Ronin in 10 millimeter. That is a pretty good one. I agree. Shadow Systems went way too much for something 10 other companies can do. Yeah, when they came out with the Poet Society or the War Poet Shadow Systems 920, they completely lost my respect. I took one in on transfer, and I was just kind of. I wish I could show you guns on stream. I really do, because my Goobered Frankenstein Glock 19 build has a better tolerance for the magazines than the Shadow Systems do. And why am I harping on something that should be minimal because it feeds at the top? Well, because if you have that much play in the magazine, you could accidentally misinsert it. It might not go in all the way. A lot of things can happen. The slides, the cuts didn't feel that good. I mean, but what was it, like $1,700 for the War Poet 920? Too much money. Just too much money for a Glock. What's up? Hey, Todd. Yeah, I should do them more often. I enjoy doing them. It's just I don't know what to talk about for a couple of hours, and I'm always worried that I'm going to bore the frack out of you guys. What's my view on 357 SIG? Just got rid of a Glock 32 and a 357 SIG. Come on, brain, do numbers. 229. My eye twitchy. But yeah, it's a good round. It's not a round I really messed with. If I had a bunch of it, I would probably pick up more guns in it. But it's a good round. Powerful, penetrative, all those words that Biden doesn't like to hear. That burns. But boom, boom. 10. Down to 10. Need 10 for 155K. Oh, hey, thumbs up. I love thumbs ups. For those of you that don't know, and I'm going to plug my other channel here just because why wouldn't I? Jiminy Tech, the other side, man. If you want to see me doing stuff with technology and not flooding this channel with it, I need you guys to sub over there. I need to get that one up to 1,000 subs. That way I can monetize that one. And quite frankly, a video that does 2,000 views on that channel will probably make me more money than Firearms videos do. I don't make anything off these things. You'd think that a content creator with 155,000 subs would be making decent money every month off of YouTube. So that sucks. So, and I'm not begging you guys to send me money. I'm just saying, just kind of go over there and click the subscribe button. That's all I'm asking for. Once I get it to 1,000 and then enough views, then it'll work. So, our player, thank you for answering my questions. You have a good stream and a good night. Thank you, YY. Appreciate you hanging out. And this is what I do when I do the live stream. So when I do another one, expect about the same kind of thing. I just kind of react to what you guys kind of launch out at me. So that's why I like questions, comments, concerns. Sorry, I had to put my stump up. Oh yeah, I also I'm stumpy. Wilson Combat Frame and 357 SIG. I'm just happy the price is going down on the round, which SIG didn't hate their own round. Me too. And the next carry with the 357 conversion is pretty damn nice. And I like the Wilson Combat grip because it comes up high with the texturing and it avoids that shelf. That's why I only like the Legion or the AXG Pro, because the standard gun has a weird shelf underneath the slide lock. So when I run one of those, I invariably lift the slide lock up and lock it. The channel is Jiminy Tech. So same name, but instead of Jiminy Show, Jiminy Tech. It's up there. It's only got like 80 subs, and I have videos filmed for it, and I need to edit them. I'm paying for Adobe for 6 years, and I haven't really edited a video in probably 5. When I had that shitty apartment in downtown Winchester was when I had that one. So. Wish SIG didn't hate their own round. Yeah, could be worse. Could be 30 super carry. Any of you guys get suckered into buying a 30 super carry? You know, the round that was supposed to replace 9 and wipe 380 off the map. Calm down, computer. Nine more. Yes, 30 stupid carry. I agree. Hey, if you're a tech people and you have a micro center near you, check out their bundles. That's another one I just want to throw out there. Again, not affiliated, associated, or anything, but that motherboard up there, i9 12900K, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM and a motherboard, $400. What is it up on my screen behind me? Oh, that's my TV. Never mind. Yeah, $400. And I already had the case. Like how I have my Ethernet. It's really cool. 2 feet short of running it up through the ceiling. Four-inch X10. That would be really cool because that would compete directly with the M&P 2.0 10 mil, and I think it would crush it. Although I have had nothing but bad luck with short frame for short slide SIGs. That's why I did not buy the AXG Legion, the 320 AXG Legion. I let Jacob buy it and a few other friends buy them, all the ones I meant to buy, because I don't like a short barrel SIG 320. Something about them just, I don't like the way they shoot. Hey, all you new people, say hi. I see you in the corner, especially you, lady. Come on. Come over here. Sit down and type. Do you think companies should start straying away from the micro 380s? I feel too much snap for not enough punch. Yes. I'm not a huge fan of 380. I've only got a handful of 380s because they are, just as you're saying, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they're going for super lightweight with them, but I shot a Bodyguard 380, and every time I shot it, because of the way it recoiled in my hand, I was dropping the mag. It was insane. Woohoo! 73 subs. I'm on my way back up, man. You're gonna see two plaques up there at some point. I was gonna shoot that one, but I figured that would just be rude. I might order one of those AliExpress versions, though. Oh, yo, motherfather. Oh man, we've been going for nearly an hour and 45 minutes. I'm guessing Gopher went to bed. Oh. If you guys don't have many more questions, we're probably going to end it here soon, probably at 11. Just, again, I would just like to answer your questions, so throw them out. I want to react to your questions because I don't have good questions to ask other people. I like being questioned. I don't like questioning others, except for the man. Screw the man. Wait, I work for myself. That makes me the man. Now I have to go screw myself. I have a Caltech PF9, but even that feels too small in the hands for me. I'd rather keep full size or close to full size. Agreed. A couple of instructors have said this, and I firmly believe it. It doesn't matter how concealable a gun is if you can't shoot it effectively. So if you can't draw it and get a good grip on it right away, if you can't control it because it's too light and snappy, or if you can't get on sights because it's too damn short and you don't get a good sight picture, then the gun is useless. You might as well carry a stick. It's the same way for those people out there that believe carrying on an empty chamber is the right thing to do, or carrying with the hammer down on a single action. Man, those videos, anytime I make a video questioning why somebody carries a gun other than the way it was designed to be carried, I get tons of flack back, and I don't answer pretty much any of it anymore. But it doesn't make sense that not you, like to think that you know better than the manufacturer of a firearm how to use it. The 1911 was designed to be carried loaded, hammer back, safety on. A Glock has its trigger safety. So it's designed to be carried with a round in it. It was designed as a duty weapon. It was designed to be pulled up and used quickly. And before any of you typed in, I'm not even looking yet, before any of you type in and say that the Israeli Mossad trains with empty chambers, there's a very big reason for that. Their fighting force was trained to take and use enemy weapons, to take and procure other weapon systems from somebody else. So they were having to use multiple types of firearms. And when you're in that region of the world, there's all kinds of firearms available, not just like here in the United States where half of people have Glocks, half of them have Tauruses, and then smart people have 1911s. No, over there they had to be able to put any firearm in a battery, and the easiest way to do that is to rack it. However, it's not fast. It's fast if you train, but it's not faster than pulling and pointing and pulling. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. Anybody put that up there? Leather or Kydex? Inside the waistband, I prefer leather. Outside the waistband at the store, I'll carry in a Kydex. I'll carry in my my Serpa, the Blackhawk one that I broke out the trigger retention system on so that it can carry other guns, because at the range we're not allowed to have one that interferes with the trigger because you could accidentally discharge a firearm. So outside the waistband Kydex, inside the waistband leather. You think P plus 9mm is worth the time, or just check that out kind of thing? I don't really want to run around because of how bad I've been told it hurts. A handgun, is it only for light picks? Plus P plus is a very hot round. I will say that I fired a lot of double tap stuff that is like 1,500 feet per second rounds, 1,400 feet per second rounds out of a Taurus, and it ran it fine. So on an occasional thing, it is okay to do. But if you're looking for a heavier, harder hitting round, just carry 154 grain. That's not a plus P plus. It's just a 9mm in a heavy grain, or 147 grain. It'll hit harder, and it's heavier round, so it'll do more damage, and the expansion is better. Where's your store located? I enjoy going to YouTuber shops. It's in Northern Virginia, Middletown Firearms. I don't work there anymore. And then Liberty Arms in Harrisonburg. I'm still friends with them, but I don't work there either. Kind of doing my own thing. So if you see me standing on a freeway off ramp, holding up a sign saying the Jiminy Show will shoot guns for food, that's probably where my store will be. Hail Satan. I think you have a little bit of the dyslexia. It's Hail Santa. We're coming up on December. If you can't carry confidently with one in the chamber, you are not comfortable enough and train more. Oh, just dropped and came back. Not sure if that's because we're closing in on 2 hours. But yes, I do agree. And some of y'all probably clicked off because of all those statements I just made. But yes, I agree. You need to be comfortable. If you're not, I get comments from a lot of guys too. When I do a video and you see me throw a gun across my room or launch one into the couch, for some reason people think I didn't safety check that firearm before I did it. I'm confident in my skills, but I'm still going to safety check a gun. But I'm also been carrying long enough that I'm comfortable carrying a SIG 320, which has no safeties, no trigger safety. It has a drop safety that has been proven not to work effectively, but it has no trigger safety, no manual safety. Or a 365, no trigger safety, no manual safety unless you order one. So I have spent enough time carrying guns without safeties and still carrying with one in the chamber because this is your safety. There's a difference between a negligent discharge and an accidental discharge. The SIGs that went off on their own, the ones that were legitimate, those were accidental discharge. When the gun decides to go off, that's different from this, okay? So if you control this, and you respect your firearm and you treat it the way you're supposed to. You don't muzzle yourself with the loaded gun. You don't point it at your feet when you're holstering. Yes, when you're appendix carrying, you're pointing it at your junk. But again, trust the process. You're welcome, Stephen. Do you know of any good sites to get 9mm conversion kits for a 320? I think I gotta remember who Daniel just got some from. My buddy Daniel picked up a AXG Pro. Yeah, he just picked up an AXG Pro that had a threaded barrel, and he just replaced it. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him who it was. I'll come back and put it down in the comments responding at some point. Yeah, shit, I can't remember. It was a gold barrel, but his works really good. No booger hook on bang switch. Yes. It's one of the 4 rules. One of the 4 rules. Davey did it. Red Rup. Oh, this is going to be one of those days. Numbers just went down. You mutter fodders. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to stay up for that. I'm getting too tired. You guys have been amazing hanging out with me. And again, next time, if you're going to be a returning viewer, come up with a question for me. And we'll talk about some topics. Things that I avoid talking about. I talked about it at the beginning of the stream. I really don't talk much about politics. I really don't talk about religion. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't care what your orientation is. I don't care what your political bent is. I like guns. I like cars. I like computers. I like video games. I like me. I like you. Let's just get along, okay? So keep that in mind moving forward. Don't ask me. My opinion should not affect you unless you live in my house. Then my opinion should matter to you. But my opinion carries the same weight as a Kardashian's. Think about that for a second. Except for guns. But the rest of that shite that I don't know anything about, that's Kardashians. But guns, cars, video games, mysterious bottles with no labels on them containing what could be pills, that's my area. Whatever happened to Carr? They're still around. Carr owns Desert Eagle. Carr owns Magnum Research. They work with Bull Armory to do Desert Eagle 1911s. They're still manufacturing the 50AE. They still make their lineup of guns. They also manufacture and own Thompson, or the machine gun, not the Thompson Center, but the Tommy gun. They actually own the rights to that. So Carr is still around. They own like 4 other companies too. If they do to you, they do. Again, you do what you got to do, man. Ma'am, them, they, he, he, she, be, she, d. I don't want to get involved in it, man. Thank you, Stephen. You have a good week too. Again, I don't have the clout to get involved in any of those kind of conversations or situations. I identify as a meat popsicle. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We're close enough to 2 hours. I just wanted to have a couple hours, actually respond to people that are of like minds. So again, come back for another one. If you guys want me to do them more, leave it right now in the last minute or so that we're up. Just let me know if you want me to do more live streams. No, absolutely Forgotten Soul. I enjoyed it. Again, I like talking. Since I left the gun store, I'm not doing it as much because I'm solitary and working in my office. So yeah, absolutely. Yes, I am the jetpack, but I can be the jetpack and the meat popsicle. Have a good night. I'll keep on the lookout for the live streams. Yeah, I'll try to give more than like a 10-hour warning. I'll try to give at least a day. I'm going to try to pick a day every week when I do it. I think that would help out too. More live streams, please. Yep. Yay. Okay. Sounds like we have an answer there. So every day I'm going to do 10 live streams. Every half hour on the third hour of the 4th minute of the 16th week of the year. On that note, I'm out. So leave comments down below. I see a bunch of you liked it. So have fun. Come back for the next one. And as always, I'm going to hit this X button and it's not going to turn off the first try. Ready? See, told you. Try again. One more. All right. See ya. Nope. Yay. Oh, got it. There.